This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. My co-host today, Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality #1 best-selling author. We will be answering your questions about your life and your money. Thank you for jumping in, America. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Jeff is going to start us off this hour in Cincinnati. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, Jet. I'm doing good, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I'm kind of a new follower. I just found you earlier this year and had some questions about potentially refinancing our house.
Mm-hmm.
We originally bought it back in January of 2021. This was obviously before we knew you, and we got a 30-year loan at 2.5%.
Mm-hmm.
And now kind of considering, do we move to a 15-year? But my biggest concern with that is that we're giving up that 2.5% rate to go somewhere around 5% or so.
You're right to be concerned.
So to make more sense,
I would not do that. You're right. Okay. No,
so
you keep the existing mortgage you have. If you calculate a 30-year mortgage and you calculate a 15-year mortgage at the same interest rate, in your case 2.5%, and you pay the difference, like you took out a 30 and you pay the extra amount as in the difference between a 15 payment and a 30 payment, it will pay off in exactly 15 years.
Okay.
You do not have to refinance to pay a loan off in 15 years. You just have to pay it like it's a 15-year payment, and it'll pay right out. Or more, of course, and then it would pay out even sooner. So never refinance just to move from a 30 to a 15 because you take on the closing costs at a minimum, and in this case, you'd go up in interest rate. So you never do that. Just pay extra on it, and you'll get there.
Okay.
That was easy, wasn't it?
As far as how much house I can afford, we were well within the 25%. Kind of calculating it off of the 2.5% rate that we have.
Great.
But with rates now, I know we're not refinancing, but that would obviously put us probably closer to the 30% mark. Do we have? Well,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're fine. You know, the reality is your house payment is a fourth of your take-home pay at a 15-year on 2.5%, and so you're fine. The reason we put that in place is not to keep people from buying homes. And, John, people are really mad right now about
because you hate home
house
ownership. Prices.
Apparently, I hate home ownership, and I'm an unrealistic old boomer or whatever other terms of derision you can throw at my bald head. But I don't care if you get a house you can't afford. It doesn't affect me. It affects you if you buy a house you can't afford. Jeff's in good shape. He's not got any issues, but here's the thing, and I've been answering this question the same way for 30 years. Like, we have people call us from California. Well, Dave, you can't buy a house in California for that. That means you can't buy a house.
That's
in California for that. That's what that means. You also may not be able to buy a Bentley. You also may not be. When I grew up, this county that we live in is the 11th wealthiest county in the nation, the wealthiest county in Tennessee. Williamson County, Tennessee, where you and I are sitting right now, where both of us live now. When I was growing up, that's where the rich people lived. And we said stuff like, you can't afford to live there. And you know what? Not everybody can afford to live there. Yeah. Everybody can afford to live on Rodeo Drive or in downtown Manhattan or downtown Tokyo or downtown London. It's freaking expensive. And so sometimes you just have to say, I can't afford it, number one. But number two, the reason for this is we know from the data of doing this 30 years that your most likely way to become wealthy is to get your home paid off as soon as possible, and all other debts too, because it frees up your most powerful wealth building tool. And so if you keep a mortgage around like it's a pet for your whole life because you're thinking, well, I'm always going to have a mortgage, and the only way I can afford a mortgage, the only way I'm ever going to get a house, because I'll never get a house, I'm so stuck, and it's just not fair, and life's not fair, and I'm a 4-year-old in the cereal aisle throwing a fit, and I want Captain Crunch. Dad, blame it, and it's just like, and everybody's acting like that right now. And so I'm sorry. I'm sorry that when I was a kid, I couldn't live in Williamson County. I couldn't afford it. My family didn't make that kind of money. I'm sorry. I had a traumatized childhood. I'm sorry. But it's the way life is. And so, the answer is no. And the reason you tell yourself no is so you can tell yourself yes later. So if you go buy a house you can't afford, and you go take car payments out that you can't afford, and you go take, which nobody can, you go take out a student loan, and you go take out MasterCard and Visa and American Express, you're going to be normal. And normal is you work your whole life and give all of the money you earn to someone else in the form of payments and retire broke and hope social insecurity will take care of you. Who the crap wants to be normal?
Right.
And so you've got to break this cycle and not be angry at me or at the world or at Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is you're angry at this week because house prices went up. I'm really sorry. I don't want you to be upset, and I don't want you to not have a house, but also don't want you to do something stupid that's going to keep you broke your whole life.
I'll throw a third one on there, Dave. I have found in my life, when I've had a 30-year mortgage, and I've had a couple of those in the 15-year, I can have all the best intentions with a 30-year mortgage, but when it comes down to it, every single month, somebody invites me out to a thing. Or, hey, we're all going out to this thing.
Yeah.
And whether I've got the best intentions or I've got all the willpower in the world, it's really hard for me to double that payment or to make that gap payment between the 30-year note is requiring me to pay and what I could be paying for that 15-year. With the 15-year, I'm locked into it. I got to do it.
So one of the things I figured out when I very first started doing this stuff with Financial Peace, when I started studying rich people, is they put smart things on autopilot.
Yes. I don't want to think about it.
100% of the 15-year mortgages pay off in 15 years or less.
Yep.
100%. Or they get foreclosed on. 100% of them do. Okay? People that take out a 30 promising to pay a 15, the studies say 92% do not stick with the schedule. If you put a system in place that you have to be in the top 8% is the only way you win,
you lose.
You're going to lose. That's dumb.
I just was listening to some obesity researchers today, and they were talking about step 1, create an environment where you can at least attempt to be successful. Get the junk out of your house.
Yeah.
Right? You can't have it all there and say, I'm going to make good choices, because you're not going to make good choices.
James Clear talks about that in Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
He talks about the exact same thing. What is it? You're trying to create a habit, then don't put stuff that's contrary to the habit right in front of you. The opposite of paying the mortgage off early, another autopilot, is the 401ks. That's why they're so successful. You never see the money. It just comes out of your check automatically. Or an auto draft on your checking account for your Roth IRAs or your kids' 529. You're an automatic investor. And David Bach had a best-selling book, The Automatic Millionaire, or whatever it was called. And he said, just put everything on automatic. And you know what? There's something to that. And so quit thinking you're have superpowers just to get to buy crap you can't afford. It's a bad idea. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. One of the things we are doing today and this week is we're talking about the importance of insurance. The subject no one likes to talk about. Everybody say it with me. Insurance sucks until you need it, right? And then it doesn't. And then when you got it and you need it, it's like the right kind and you did the right thing. But it's confusing. Too many people buy the wrong stuff. They spend the wrong money on the wrong things. But insurance is a huge blessing because people that build wealth not only play offense, they also play defense. And insurance is the defense side. And so in honor of this insurance week here, we're talking about the Confidence in Your Coverage program that George Camel put out with our Ramsey Trusted people, and all the details on your insurance. It's really good stuff. Donna is on the line. Donna's in Pensacola, Florida. So Donna, talk about insurance and the importance of it in your life. Donna?
Oh, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Hey,
okay.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Good. Talk about insurance and the importance of it in your situation.
So I wanted to speak specifically to insurance and life insurance with second marriages. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people out there with second marriages, and it adds in some factors that maybe you hadn't thought about before. So what happened in my situation was my husband passed away 2 years ago, and when I contacted the department at his work for life insurance, it turns out they never got his change of beneficiary form. So when we both got married, we both filled out the change of beneficiary forms, and we sent them in, and apparently they got mine and didn't get his. So all of his life insurance went to his ex-wife who, hated him and didn't want to have anything to do with him. And so we had no idea. We were married for 3 years. We had no idea that they never received that document. And we could have known because they send you back a copy that they received it. We never followed up to check on it. Another thing that happened was when you retire or die, you get paid for your unused vacation time and unused sick leave. They're considered separate leave, and one of them has a beneficiary form and the other one doesn't. Well, he'd worked there for 30 years. So, back when he was 18, he had signed a beneficiary form for whichever one has one and totally forgot that even existed, because it's not like a huge amount of money like life insurance is. So it turns out he didn't change that beneficiary form, so it went to somebody else. And then I got the other one.
Would it go back to like his parents or something? Or
no, he was married for a short time back when he was 18, so it probably went back to that wife.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. And then
this sucks. All the ex-wives got money.
All the ex-wives got money. Well, I got the TSP, but the life insurance, I think, was higher at that point in time. And another thing that I came across, and I don't know which this is from. I don't know if it's from his military time or from a life insurance policy or what it was from, but there was somebody who, before they would distribute funds, I had to come up with the marriage dates and divorce dates of the previous spouses. So he'd been married a short time when he was very young, when he was in the military, and then he'd been married for a long time for his second marriage, and I was the third. So I looked through all his forms and I found all that and had it. But I called up, people that I knew that were on a second marriage. I'm like, I guess because
they were trying to prove that he wasn't married to more than one person.
Yes, they wanted to make sure that he really was divorced from previous marriages.
Wow.
Yeah, so those are all things that I'm recommending that people look into. Don't just assume you've got all your details in order. So
when you went through the Confidence in Your Coverage series, is that the kind of thing that jumped out to you, or did you pick up something else?
The thing that jumped out to me in that, because I had been listening intently for a few years, and so I had, background on almost everything. But one thing that jumped out to me in the little questionnaire that you take yourself was about long-term care insurance. and I'm 57, so I'm not 60 yet, but it caused me to check into it because I have a diagnosis that I thought might make me ineligible, and it did. So it just, it's a kidney disease. It doesn't affect my life. I'm totally healthy. I just have to get my blood checked every year to make sure it isn't progressing. So I don't think about it a lot, but it's enough to make me ineligible for long-term care insurance. I wouldn't be able to get life insurance now, things like that, that if you get a diagnosis, and I've had the diagnosis for 20 years. So if you get it when you're younger and you find out you're ineligible later for these things, you need to go ahead and build up your nest egg and be prepared for those kinds of expenses.
For real.
So it sounds like what you're mentioning here goes back to one word that I just keep hearing over and over as you're talking, and that's this idea of being highly intentional about the hard conversations. There is a chance, no matter how small, that something may happen to one of you. And we need to make sure all of our ducks in a row, and we need to make that extra phone call at work, sit down with our insurance agent and make sure we're covered. Make sure these things are in order so that if the unthinkable happens, which in your case it did, we're covered. Everybody's on the same page.
He was 49 when he drowned in the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow.
So if you think, I'll check into it when I'm older, don't check into it when you're older. When it comes to second marriages, there's so many other things to think. Another thing to think about is the relationship your spouse has with your own kids. Because you need to think, when you get married a second time, you need to think, okay, yes, our life insurance policies are mirrored. They say the same thing. Everything will go to our kids. But that's only if you die at the same time. If one of you dies first and the person who survives doesn't have a relationship with your kids and everything is going to your spouse that you love and that you chose, and then later on they die, everything goes to their kids and your kids get nothing. You might want some stuff to go to your kids when you die because your spouse may live longer and your spouse may marry somebody else. And then their kids, part you don't even know gets everything. And then your kids and your spouse's kids don't get any of it. So
it gets super complicated to do a will and to do the beneficiaries and everything. Yeah.
Right.
And thinking through not necessarily the first movement, the first rhythm, if something happens, but the second one is the one that's hard to anticipate. Yeah.
Yeah, because all the beneficiary forms I've seen say, if you fill this out, then boom, that person gets it, whatever you want happens. If you don't fill it out, then the system has to go through the process of figuring out who really gets it. And if it's your first marriage, it's going to be the spouse. If you're your second marriage, holy cow, you have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah. Wow. That's good insight, Donna. Thank you for sharing all that. Wow. Pretty important. Crazy, crazy stuff. Well, you can go to RamseySolutions.com and check out the Confidence in Your Coverage series. There is a 5-part series there. They're all very short. They're all very fun and funny because it is George Camel after all. And RamseySolutions.com/confidence. It is a free 5-day video guide to walk you through the different kinds of insurance. And Donna's insights are really, really valuable there. Yeah. And you know, the thing is, John, these aren't things, right? Doing a will, making sure your beneficiaries are right, making sure the name on your mutual fund account is changed, all those kinds of things are, none of this is like sit down and have fun.
No.
This is not like I get to do the most fun thing this weekend. I'm working on this crap.
Right.
But it you know, when you've got all that in order, that is one way you are saying to your wife, your husband, your kids, I love you.
I love you. Yeah. Even when I'm not here, I love you.
Yeah. It's that level of diligence. And by the way, it is the difference in poor people and rich people often. Wealthy people do this kind of stuff. People who, well, I don't have any money, doesn't matter. Well, it's kind of a correlation there. You know, do the intentional, diligent thing. Take care of the little things, and the big things tend to take care of themselves. This is the Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh? How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Dr. John Deloney, #1 best-selling author and Ramsey personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions. A whole bunch of folks visiting us today. Thank you for visiting us, guys. By the way, if you're ever in the Franklin, Tennessee, south of Nashville area and want to stop by, it is a free visit to the Ramsey complex, including the visitor center here in the lobby. And you can watch the show. We tape the show every day from 1 to 4, or we do the show live. It is also simultaneously taped from 1 to 4. Central every day. And in the middle of that lobby is the debt-free stage. On that stage is Jonathan and Amy. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Welcome. Where do you guys live?
Watkins Glen, New York.
All right. Cool. Welcome to Nashville. How much debt have you paid off?
$102,000.
All right. How long did this take?
4 years.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
$60,000 to $75,000.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a teaching assistant.
Mm-hmm.
I was a vehicle purchaser for a scrapyard, and I currently am a teaching assistant now.
Oh, okay. Both of you. Good. Mm-hmm. Good for you. Cool. So what kind of debt was the $102,000?
A lot of things. It was credit card debt, personal loans, family loans. We owed some library money.
We owed everything.
The library. It's like one of those dreams you have in the middle of the night that you forgot from 30 years ago.
When you're in hawk to the library, that's knowing you're not doing well.
It's pretty bad. It's actually really bad when you don't have money to buy a coffee, and then you're like, let's just transfer money over. And yeah, it's cool. It's all good.
So you were normal.
Pretty normal.
Yeah. Normal's no fun, and you decided to change 4 years ago. What caused you to do this Ramsey stuff? Tell us the story.
Well, so our church was doing a Ramsey.
Yeah.
Financial Peace University.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm really nervous.
No trouble.
But so I mean, really, they were the catalyst. Higher Hope in Big Flats, New York, was like the huge catalyst to it. I thought we were fine. Honest to God, I just thought credit cards were just normal, and
they are.
We pay them when we can.
When we want to.
Exactly. So my husband was super nerdy and really wanted to get into this, and I was very reluctant. And I said, let's just try it. Let's look at everything, kind of try it. It was a little Ramsey-ish. Through the course, I was kicking and screaming.
Oh, okay.
But then I really got on board, especially when we started seeing the little wins. It was so big for us. He was a great big support. I mean, he kind of just, I don't know, the whole time you were just not harsh, but kind of real. But it was really good. I don't know, we saw our girls kind of prospering. I had never seen money talk. He hadn't either. But the girls, I mean, they play your show every Saturday on Alexa. They say, Alexa, play the Ramsey Show, and we listen to it. So that's our why. That's our huge why.
Very cool.
It's awesome. So, and they love knowing that they can plan for the future. I mean, and they're 7 and 10. So
I love it.
It's awesome.
It's very good. So you kicked and screamed all the way through the course, or up until the last one, or all the way through, and really he won you over simply by causing the money to start winning?
Okay, so I would say it was about 2 weeks in, we started making friends. We went through a live course, so it was really nice to see other people kind of going through the same struggles and the same kind of, I don't know, tantrum moments that I had.
It takes some of the shame away from the process.
It does.
Yeah. Y'all going through the same thing.
Yeah, and then we actually, I don't know, about 3 in, it all clicked, and we were starting to pay off more, and it was doing really good, and we had our emergency fund, and it was really And then we taught it at our church. So,
whoa! You went all the way.
We did. It was full circle. But I kind of hoped I let the shame, my hair straightener broke one time, and I was like, guys, I'm not buying it. It's not my budget. So this is what you have to look at this week. I'm really sorry.
And hold on, this is important. And you survived?
I did.
Hey, more importantly, did the rods and cones in there, did they survive too?
Yeah, everything was great.
Whoa.
Everything was great.
Wow.
Yeah, it felt weird to be weird, but it feels even better now to be weird. So
Jonathan, what was it like dragging like a hurricane through this process?
It wasn't that bad. We were together, but she just had struggles, and it was good. It was really
wise answer, man. Wise answer.
You're a good man,
That's
Jonathan.
right.
Well done, you guys.
Thank
All right.
you.
So, what do you tell people now that you're coordinators? Now that you paid off $102,000, you're actual professionals now. What do you tell them the key to getting out of debt is?
Doing the budget. You just got to start somewhere and keep
budget's
going.
huge. It's huge. It is your guideline. It's your everything. I mean, it's neither one or the other telling each other you can't do it. It's literally there on paper. So
I mean, Amy's talking like a real free spirit, but a real free spirit who had a vote.
I did.
You had control in this. You weren't. Jonathan wasn't telling you what to do. Both of you are voting, and you're agreeing, and like two grown-ups. This is where we're going, and this is the price we're going to pay. If you live like no one else later, you can live and give like no one else.
Absolutely.
And you said something powerful. You shift the blame to this piece of paper. And so I don't hate Jonathan for saying no. We can grit our teeth at this budget, right? But the budget said.
Yes.
It was the
Very
budget.
cool. What was your favorite altercation? What was the thing?
Biggest fight
The
you
biggest
had.
fight you had.
Okay, so
He remembers his, but you go ahead and answer. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so you have your fund money, and I decided to grow my fund money by selling thrifted items and stuff. And my husband said, well, you can't do that. That's your fund money. It can't grow because you've got to pay off your debt or our debt together. And
Well, she wanted to take her money and invest it and then keep her extra money.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the program here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
it was a kicking and screaming moment in the very beginning. You
I
have to
love
give some
it.
grace.
I love it.
So yeah, that was big.
Jonathan, you guys, you're perfect for each other. I mean, y'all, you make his life fun. This is great.
We try.
And he makes sure there's water coming out of the faucet every month.
Yeah, it's true. You guys got us down.
Yeah, you guys are all right.
That's
This is
fantastic.
great. This is y'all are a perfect couple. This is great. So well done. I'm so proud of y'all.
Thank you.
How's it feel to be free?
Feels
Amazing.
awesome. Our marriage is way better than anything I could have imagined.
And that's why I could take the different job too as a job switch because I've been in the same job for 12 years and then we got that free. We can make some choices.
He's going back to school to be a teacher. So,
Good.
He's living out his dream too. And that's really cool.
That's very cool.
That's incredible.
And that wasn't going to happen as long as you just kept swimming in credit card debt. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's no way.
You guys are powerful. Well done.
Thank you for going to be a teacher, man.
Yeah. Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. We need good people teaching.
He's pretty good at being a TA, so he'll be a really good teacher.
Amen. Good stuff. All right, you brought the kiddos with you. What are their names and ages?
Eliza is 10 and Marlena is 7.
All right, very good. Well, we've got a copy of the Baby Steps Millionaires book for you because that's the next chapter in your story for sure. I mean, from kicking and screaming to coordinating, we've gone all the way through the whole thing. I like it. That's the best kind right there. And we've also got a copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give to somebody in one of your classes, and we'll give you a 1-year subscription to Financial Peace University. You can find somebody that needs to go through the class when you're leading it and help them out doing that.
Thank you.
Of course, that comes with the Every Dollar Premium. And this is the brand new lessons that just came out.
Awesome.
The brand new videos just came out. So make sure you're jumping in there and getting all that done when you're coordinating. Good stuff. Thank you guys so much. You're incredible. I'm so proud of you. You're rock stars.
Thank you.
What heroes. Took care of your life, man. Jonathan, Amy, Eliza, and Marlena. Watkins Glen, New York. $102,000 paid off in 4 years, making $60,000 to $75,000. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free. This is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Powerful. Powerful. Good stuff. Good stuff. grown-ups being grown-ups. It's a good thing in America.
Raising grown-ups.
Yeah, raising another batch of grown-ups. It's really good. This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Sierra is with us in Portland, Oregon. Hi, Sierra. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Sure. What's up?
We just completed baby steps 2 through 4, and we have approached baby steps 5, but my husband and I have a disagreement when it comes to saving for your kids' college fund. I'm all for it, and my husband is against it.
Against saving for your kids' college?
Yes. Correct.
He does not think he should pay for his kids' college or anything having to do with it.
Correct.
How come?
So we both went to college, got our bachelor's degree. My husband, about 4 years ago, ended his career and switched into a trade. The trade, by far, in 2 years, he was making what he was making doing his college career job. And he thinks that college is like a waste of money now that he's been in a trade. And he also believes that my son, or our son, I should say, will appreciate money more, which I disagree, if he has to pay for it himself. So, and also in addition, I don't know how long it will be, but the union has started a program where they pay 100% of the college, but the degree options are limited at this point. So there's that kind of ball in the court too, as well.
Okay. Well, I paid for all 3 of my children's college education, and it had nothing to do, that did not cause them to not have an appreciation for the dollar. All 3 of them understand work ethic. All 3 of them understand the value of a dollar. And so your husband's full of crap on that subject. I have proof otherwise. Now, I understand because I come from I'm cut out of the same cloth he's cut out of. He believes in hard work. He believes in earning your way, and he believes it's good for your kid to build those muscles of self-reliance and destiny and control. You know, I agree with all that. And I've got a friend who's a NFL football player, ex-NFL football player who grew up blue-collar dad that was a dock worker. And his dad said they're not paying for nothing. He went to school on a scholarship playing football and then went on into the NFL. And he refused to, in the NFL, making NFL money to save anything for his kids' college. So, but the idea that the only way your child learns the value of a dollar is to make sure they have no dollars is bullcrap. Okay, but I do understand his line of thinking, so I don't disagree with. I understand how he got there. He's just wrong. Okay, so you can teach a kid the value of a dollar. You can teach them hard work, even if they come from a family of means, even if they come where they have a college fund, and you can actually hold it over their head to make sure that they learn these things, you know. And the other thing I would just say is the other place I do agree with him that the trades are oftentimes a better option than a stupid butt degree that is nuanced and has absolutely no application in the real world. I'm going to get a degree in German polka history and left-handed puppetry and then bitch and moan because society owes me something while I'm a barista. That's just dumb. Okay, and that happens all the time out there. And I agree with him that we're not going to salute that stupidity either. But to say that all kids don't need a 4-year education is ludicrous.
It's nonsense. So let me tell you this. My grandma, smoked when she was younger. When she passed away, she did not pass away from lung cancer. That doesn't mean that lung cancer doesn't give you, or smoking doesn't give you cancer. I think we've proven equivocally that smoking increases cancer rates exponentially. Just because your husband got a 4-year degree and has found more success in a trade doesn't mean that all people who get 4 years degrees are dumber than people who go to trades. That's just not how it works.
Nor does it mean the opposite.
Nor does it mean the opposite.
That if you go to a trade and don't go get a 4-year degree, you're dumb.
Right.
Because there's some people need to do that too. We need people in the trades. We need people
Yes.
but to not have a money allocated to cause the future success of your child, whether it's a certification as a diesel mechanic and pay for that, or whether it's a 4-year degree in business and pay for that, you're giving your kids options when you do that. When you have no money set aside, you took away a lot of the options.
That's right. And I've got several friends who had assistance with financial assistance. My family wasn't in a position to do that. And I will tell you, we are the same age, and we all equally work really hard. And their ability to do some things early on when it came to investing, when it came to home buying that I wasn't able to do has accelerated their wealth building because they had options. And so I'm like Dave. My kids will know how to work hard. They will know how to grind and hustle and what a dollar means. And Lord willing, if I'm able to help them pay for their college education or their trades, I'm gonna make every effort possible to make that happen.
Yeah, and so here's the thing: 100% of the humans out there, unless they have a mental disability, need some kind of education post high school to be financially successful. It's not 100% necessary, but it's 98% necessary. You really don't take a single thing after high school, you are behind the curve. And so you need to go get certifications in Microsoft and go into technology at the local community college or tech college. That's fine. That's going into a trade. You go be a diesel mechanic. That's fine. Be a welder. That's fine.
Get your real estate license.
Get your real estate license. That's fine. But continuing education throughout your life is the path of successful people. We have people that come in here that are 40 years old and applying for a leadership role in there, and I ask them what book they've read, and they can't remember one. Well, they're disqualified. You know, you don't get to come in here and be a leader. You're not learning anything new. You always are learning. And so you always want to encourage learning is a continual process. We love books, we love reading, we love learning, but we respect your ability to go into the military. We respect your ability to go into a trade. And those are fine career paths. And the higher education communities look down their nose at them for too long. So I agree with lifting those up. Mike Rowe is a good friend of mine. We're in agreement about that. Dirty jobs guy, and so he's got a whole movement on the trades thing. But he's not against college. He's got a degree, and this is Mr. Dirty Jobs, for God's sakes, and so, all of that to say, I understand completely and agree with why your husband is saying what he's saying, but I think he's taking a wrong track.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you put the money aside. Money for future learning will never go to waste.
Exactly.
It's always the best investment.
And build a culture in your house of hard work and future learning.
That's right.
You're always going to be learning. You're always going to be reading. You're always going to be learning. You're always going to be reading. I was telling the story to our team yesterday. We've adopted a school here at Ramsey that was my old elementary school. And we were able to go in several years ago and rebuild the library, and in the honor of my old principal out of our family foundation. Now our company is adopting this and coming around these 83 teachers and trying to help them, because these poor teachers, man, it's just ridiculous out there. Anyway, but they're showing that video of that library. I started crying.
I had to walk out, Dave. I walked out because I was crying. Like, it came over.
And it's just like, because that library is where I learned to read. Mm-hmm. I came out of the first grade and the second grade not knowing how to read.
Yeah.
And my second grade teacher, bless her heart, didn't know how to teach, and that she worked 1 year, and those hillbilly kids drove her out of business. And so, but then so I go in the 3rd grade reading on a 1st grade level, and Miss Mary Jane Hurt taught me to read. And by the time I go out of the 4th grade, I'm reading on a 6th grade level. So that little library, and I've had 7 #1 best-selling books, sold 25 million books that I wrote. Okay, that doesn't happen unless you read a lot.
Yeah,
that goes with the territory. So learning is a good thing. Learning is a good thing. So yeah, I love guys like your husband though, Sierra. I almost could get on his side on this. Except he's wrong.
He's wrong. Yeah.
Thanks for the call. Open phones at 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Dr. John Deloney, #1 best-selling author and Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. We'll take your calls about your life and your money. The phone number is 888-825-5225. If you've never tuned into the new Dr. John Deloney Show, it is wildly popular on podcasts, one of the fastest-growing properties on the Ramsey networks right now. You can call in there with questions about mental health issues and boundaries and relatives and kids and marriage, and boy, there's some fun stuff on there, and some of it's just crazier than a bean.
There's some stuff on there.
I love listening to this show, but man, there's some wacky butt stuff coming in on the phone lines.
There's some stuff, man. People are going through it.
People have some stuff. Some people's kids. I mean, it's amazing.
Some people's kids. That's the name of the book. Some people's kids.
Some people's kids. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's but I mean, it's there's a lot of pain, but there's also a lot of resolution, a lot of hope, because you do walk through. I mean, psychology and mental wellness, mental health is such a taboo subject, because if you label yourself with one of the disorders, or someone labels you with one of the disorders, or you accept that as your identity, worse yet, or you just decide, that's crazy, and you just start calling something crazy, and it's like all of a sudden it falls off into a whole different bucket of life.
It just goes into a black box, and
but there's so many things though that people can do that are really common sense things in that world that you can that you teach and that you believe. And man, I get a lot out of listening to it. Thank you. It's a good show.
I appreciate that. It's very similar to money. It's just become overcomplicated and over-professionalized and over-discussed. And there are some times that there are some very, very complex issues. Most of the time, most of us need to head towards simplicity.
Yeah,
and do some things different.
A little common sense here, and no, you can't act like that around me anymore.
I'm not going to accept that.
There's that. Yeah, and I don't do that.
I'm going to leave. Right, I'm going to choose to do something different.
People that do you. Yeah, I don't do that. Yeah. It's you're gonna have to get a little distance, like about a county or two between us here.
Yes,
it's not gonna work. Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting, man. You're gonna rage. I don't do raging. You're gonna bully. I don't do bullying. Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. So,
I appreciate that.
Check out the Dr. John Deloney Show at RamseySolutions.com. You can get the phone number. The phone number. You know what off the top of your head?
Nope. 693-3291.
Come on, Kelly, help us out here. She's just looking at us. daring us to not know it.
Just go to the email.
Okay.
JohnDeloney.com/ask. ASK.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. And then you can, then Kelly will.
I've got your 888-825-5225. I got your number memorized.
Our
number.
Our number.
I got the Ramsey Show number memorized.
Okay. All right. Good. We got that down. Okay. We've solved all of these issues. Now you can call the Dr. John Deloney Show and solve the rest of them.
Call this show for numbers questions.
Because we don't know any of them. Mahmood is with us in Phoenix. Hey, Mahmood, what's up?
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Great, man. How can we help?
Well, so I started investing in, let's say, May 2020. So that's after COVID-19 slump in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And back then I was living in a different country, and I used to have an apartment that I used to live in without paying anything. And so my investment grew from $100,000 to $180,000 in terms of my original investment. In the process, in 2021, I ended up moving to the United States, and I got my first lease end of last year. And I came here with the intention, let's say, to buy property. So I had around, let's say, $120,000 in cash to use for a down payment. During that period of time, the housing market and the rental market has gone up extremely high. And
particularly in Phoenix.
Yes, exactly. And at this time, the stock market is not doing well. And I'm finding myself at let's say, a point where I have to make a decision whether, let's say, to pull all the cash that I have in the stock market to use either as a down payment or to pay as much cash as possible for a property. As things stand, we're renting. And so I'm finding myself at a point where, either my rent is going to go up by a certain percentage point, which might,
Well, here's the problem. You're in a hot rental market and you're in a hot housing market in Phoenix. No pun intended. It's 110 degrees there right now. But, so you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, in a sense, right? So you're going to pay some money out for housing, period, to live in Phoenix right now. It is it's not a down market by any stretch of the imagination, nor is it going to be anytime soon. So
so one thing to add here probably is I'm open to the idea probably to relocate it to a little bit of an affordable market at this time in terms of housing.
Okay.
But as things stand, the renting market and the housing market here, as you mentioned,
it's just white hot. I mean, it's a wonderful market in terms of the economy. It's just booming, and so but it is making housing rough. So anyway, wherever you're going to live, take your time. Not 2 years, but not 2 days. Don't get house fever and get all hot and bothered and pay too much for something. So go take your time, analyze the market, the place, the neighborhood you're looking at, work with a good real estate agent that knows their stuff, and don't overpay. Don't overpay. And so
and don't pull your money out of the market.
Well, I would to buy the house. I would.
Oh, you would?
Yeah, it's not in.
It's not retirement money.
It's not in a retirement account.
All right, Mahmood, don't listen to me.
It's not in a retirement account, right?
It's not. So I'm just starting.
Yeah, I'm going to use all the money I can get my hands on to do this deal then. The cash and the stock and the money you got in the stock market. And I know the market's down. It's not a great time to pull your money out, but it's to John's point. But right now, what I'm trying to do is just get you a house and then get it paid off as fast as you can. You have an ability to make money. You always have, and you probably will continue to make good money, and you'll be able to work your way right through this. So you're going to take some losses probably on that stock market account, but that's not the end of the world. Go buy you a house and get you a good deal. But go slow. Don't get crazy. Don't get caught up in the hype, because the hype is about over. It's kind of slowed down out there a little bit in a lot of places. Now, not Phoenix. Phoenix is booming. But, you and I had a friend the other day that bought a house, and the guy had it overpriced because he thought he was going to get one of these California suckerfish coming in here to buy stuff. And that's what we call you California people that overpay for stuff. And so... But
got a good deal on it.
But the guy, no, it wasn't. He bought it for market price.
Oh, I'm talking. We have another friend.
Same guy. No, he bought it for appraisal, but 60,000
okay.
under asking because the guy was fishing for sucker fish. He was looking for a sucker, and he was overpriced. And our guy just said no. And it had been on the market 3 whole days, so the seller panicked and gave it away. This is the Ramsey Show. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. We are highlighting some discussions on insurance today. We're big on talking about the importance of insurance. Matt is with us in Greenville, South Carolina. Matt, talk about how insurance has impacted your life.
Hey, how are you guys doing over there today?
Great, man. How are you?
Doing absolutely awesome. So it was around July of 2020 when I was in a car accident. And thankfully, because of the coverage that we got through the coverage of an ELP, I was able to have not only money from the company, but also from our emergency fund to be able to replace that car within a couple of months. But the funny part is,
it's a weird time to be buying a car, wasn't it?
Yeah. But
summer of 2020. Ugh.
Yeah, tell me about it. But the funny thing was, like, not even 6 months later, my wife was in a car accident, and so we had to go through the whole process again.
No way.
No, I am not kidding you. And it was one of those, just after we had recovered from that, now we got to go back to the emergency fund again to take care of that, along with what we got from the insurance company. But thankfully, we were able to replace that, and by the summer of 21, we were actually able to finish building our emergency fund, and now we're saving for a house.
Very good. So you have a heightened awareness about all this insurance stuff for sure then, don't you?
Yes, sir.
So what do you tell somebody when they act like they don't need to worry about insurance? Because you're like a walking claim.
Yeah. It's not a matter of if it happens to you, it's when it happens to you. So I know it'll sound like a big expense and then one of those things that's just kind of, ugh. But when it happens to you, you'll be glad that you have it.
Amen. Amen. So you went through the Confidence in Your Coverage series with George Camel, right?
Yes, I did. Excellent. He did excellent on that, by the way.
He did. I thought it was really good. It was funny and fun and informative, and it was short. It didn't choke you down too much. So what was the biggest thing you got out of that?
Just the urgency to get this stuff done now. It's not one thing I tell people, don't think about it as part of the baby steps. Just take care of it as soon as you can.
That's exactly right. I agree with that completely. Well, Matt, thank you for sharing all that. That's actually great input. Very, very good stuff. So if you want to see this 5-video series, Confidence in Your Coverage, you can go to RamseySolutions.com/confidence, and it is a free 5-video guide on insurance. It is short, it is fun, it is funny, and it is informative. So it's not too painful. George makes a pretty yucky subject entertaining, as often George does. So check it all out, RamseySolutions.com/confidence. confidence. Oh, by the way, it's completely free. Brian's in Omaha, Nebraska. Hey, Brian, welcome to the Ramsey Show. What's up?
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Better than we deserve. How can we help?
So my question is, well, I guess there should be a little bit of backstory. Me, my girlfriend, and my 6-month-old, we moved out of the apartment that we were staying at. They were raising the rent on us, and then her parents decided to let us stay at their house until we were able to save enough money to either buy a house or rent another house or apartment. And basically, I feel kind of horrible for doing that. I don't feel like as good as I should, because I know saving up is what we need to do, and I know I have some debt to pay off. So I want to use the opportunity to actually save and pay off as much debt as possible before the 6 months to a year is up that they had allowed us to stay. But I mean, I guess one of my questions is that the right thing that I did, or should I have just kind of manned up and try to pay the extra money that they were charging? And then also, I mean, what's the next step here? Because I know paying the debt off is a big one, but it just doesn't feel like I can do it in the amount of time that I'm being given.
So let me jump in. Number one, paying an accelerated rent rate has nothing to do with manhood. Uncouple those. Number two, why do you feel awful? You said you feel awful.
I've always been that type of person to never accept help. So
okay,
you feel like like a charity case.
You feel like you're failing your wife and your kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
How old are you?
26.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a mechanic for a dealership.
Cool. What do you make?
I haven't completed a full year, so I know I get paid about $2,800 a month. I think a year can be $45,000.
Yeah, sounds right. And after you've completed your year, does your income go up?
I am not entirely sure about that. I know after like 6 months, it did come up pretty good. But after a year, I believe it should. I just don't know how much.
Are you ASI?
ASE, no. I have a couple ASEs done, but not completely certified. I guess that counts. And then the dealership that I work for, they have their own training that they want you to complete.
Does your wife work outside the home?
She doesn't. We haven't been able to afford like daycare, so she stays at home.
Mm-hmm. Well, if she made $100,000 a year, you could afford it. Why? What does she do?
Well, she doesn't work.
I know. Why? Does she have a degree?
No, she's in school right now. Like I said, I'm 26, but she's 20, and she's going for sociology.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brian, I'll just take a page out of my own story. I took on the burden of the student loan debt between me and my wife. I had about 6 figures. We did together. And ultimately, we sold our house, and I moved us at my insistence, and she went along with it into a residence hall, a dorm, with a 2-year-old. And I felt like a loser, and I felt like a failure. And I looked at the math, and I came to terms with the fact that the single most quote-unquote manly thing I could do would be to have a really hard year, an uncomfortable 18 months. And in that 18 months, we didn't spend anything, and we paid off 6 figures in a very short amount of time. I took extra jobs. I worked like crazy. And in retrospect, I can't think of a better thing I did to stop the madness, stop the sunk cost, stop dumping money into my pride and ego, and to stop and say, I need help. And the help came through this area, right? And then we got to work and then put a period at the end of that sentence and moved on. asking should you have moved is you've already moved. So asking yourself that question is a waste of energy. Asking yourself, should you move again? Maybe. That may be another question to ask. But going back and saying and debating that decision, you've already made it, man. Let that roll off. Don't carry that sucker around with you.
How much debt do you have?
I have about 6,000 in credit cards, 500 in school loans, 17 in car payments, and then
who has the $17,000 car? You or your wife?
I do. It's the only reliable car we have, but right now I know that it's got some hail damage that is getting repaired.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that gets repaired, I know I'm going to try and get rid of it as soon as possible.
Yeah, good. And get you a hoopty and get yourself out of debt. It's a good time to be selling a used car. Okay. Here's the thing. I don't know how mature emotionally your 20-year-old wife is, but she needs to make some income. Even if it's working from home, even if it's selling stuff on eBay, she needs to get off her butt. And you need to get off your butt and figure out what your income is and how you can go make more. You don't even know what you make for sure. And you don't know what your promotion process is. You need to go get some money, both of you, and get this mess cleaned up and get your autonomy back and get your sustainability back. And when you get autonomous again on your own 2 feet, and both of you have a plan, you're going to be making some money and you're going to be winning again. But right now you're just wandering, living in your mama's basement, her mama's basement. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Jack and Brittany are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hi there.
Good. How are you doing?
Better than we deserve. Welcome. Where do you live?
We live in Cypress, Texas, just north of Houston, Texas.
Very cool. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
All the way up here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
We paid off $338,405.
Excellent. How long did this take?
About 7 years and 10 months.
Good for you guys. I love it. And your range of income during that time?
We started about $107,000, and with a second job, we are now about 200, maybe a little over.
Good for you. What do you guys do for a living?
I work in the fire department as a firefighter, and my wife's a elementary school teacher.
Oh, cool. What grade do you teach?
3rd grade.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Good for you. Thanks for being there.
Thank you.
We need people like you out there right now. Good stuff. Well done. What kind of debt was this? $338,000 over 7 years. Is that the house?
It is, yeah. It is. It was a couple of small credit cards, some things we bought for that house, vehicle loans, and then, of course, last and not least, the mortgage. So.
I love it. Look at it, weird people. How old are you two?
I'm 36, and she turns 21 Thursday.
Thank you. I'll be 35 on Thursday.
Yeah.
Ah, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Way to go. What's the house worth?
About $450,000, maybe maybe more. 38 bids later, I don't know. But,
and you own it. And you're not
Yes,
even
sir.
40. I love it. You guys are amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So 7 years ago, you're in your 20s, and you decide you're going to be weirdos and pay off your house before you're 40. Tell me about this story. How'd you get connected to Ramsey? How'd you start this process?
We were introduced to financial peace through my sister and brother-in-law. Started watching the videos and just made the decision that we were ready to change our lives.
Yeah. I'm a love math. I love numbers. So when we started looking at a bigger house as we grew our family, that started to scare me a bit. So I didn't really know if we could afford it and that kind of thing with growing the family and childcare and groceries and going out to eat and all that stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of how we got connected. We haven't ever really been bad with money, more of just disorganized, if you can say that.
Okay. But going into financial peace, you just said game on.
Yeah,
Pretty
we
much.
did. We laid out the plan as you said it, and just went from there.
Yeah, you know, the weird thing is that our data on people going through financial peace is they average paying off their home in about 7 years. The average millionaire pays off their home in 11 years, and the average millionaire listening to our stuff is 10.2 years. So that's actual hard data. The other stuff's anecdotal, but the earlier one. But you guys fit the mold exactly. So well done. You're well on your way to being millionaires. And also, so how much is in your retirement accounts?
Well, with the recent downturn of the market, that put us just under. So
you were millionaires?
Yes. Yes.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as soon as the market turns back up a little, you will be again?
Yeah, we're just under the mark now.
Way to go, guys! And you're not even 40, baby step millionaires. Wow! I love it.
And I'm just a fireman, and I'm just a teacher. I could never make it.
Yeah. By the way, the number 3 occupation of people who become millionaires is teacher. And so
y'all are the fun ruiners. You're the excuse takers, man.
Yeah. And anybody who's out there whining, I teach 3rd grade. I'm a millionaire, but I'm 35.
Exactly. How were you able to be a fireman without like a huge F-350 all jacked up in the $100,000 truck on payments? How were you able to make it, man?
Yes, it was tough.
They gave it to you, huh?
As we got further towards the end of our journey, you know, our income is a lot. We're throwing a lot at the house, and you know, new trucks right there driving into the station every single month.
It hurts, doesn't it? It hurts.
So it's rough.
And they let you have it too, huh?
Oh yeah.
That's their job.
They did. Sure. They did.
Yeah, they're not millionaires. They don't have a paid-for house.
That's true.
So you keep your dadgum truck. All right, I love it. That's just awesome, man. Wow, way to go. How's it feel?
It feels great.
Yeah.
It feels great.
You got to be a captain of your own destiny, man. I mean, you're incredible.
Yeah.
It does. This month, probably maybe a month or two ago, it's finally set in. We paid the house off January 24th, I believe. We really haven't had, January. We do a lot of dirt bike riding as a hobby. So I, of course, had a wreck, hurt my knee, had to repair the bike and things like that. And then AC went out in the house, of course, 2 months after we paid it off. So just things like that happened. So it wasn't until about April or May when we really started. We don't have any plans for this extra money now, that kind of thing. So
hey, imagine 10 years ago versus when your air conditioner went out this time. It was just annoying.
It was.
It was annoying.
Yes, exactly.
It wasn't.
Exactly right.
What are we going to do? You're not looking at 2 little boys saying, "What are we going to do?"
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's made the process so easy. And that's with anything. I mean, with gas going up to $5 a gallon, just about. I mean, it's just an inconvenience for us. Really, it doesn't stop us from doing what we enjoy. And we're still investing and saving and just cruising right along, giving. That's one thing that we've really noticed is huge.
Yeah, what we can give back.
Yeah,
it's fantastic, guys.
Yeah.
Very cool. Good for you guys.
Thank you.
Well done, well done. We're proud of you. All right, you brought the kiddos with you. What are their names and ages? Bring them up.
We have Trevor, who's 11, and Owen, that's 8.
All right. Very good. Good job. Good job. All right. What was the hardest part of this for you guys?
I mean, we didn't have very many arguments over it. We both were pretty, together on doing it. But that's, no real hard part except for just sticking with it, and waiting for that light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I was a numbers guy, so I wanted to throw just about every penny we had at debt, and then of course at the house. So, we had a few disagreements about what we put in the envelopes each week or each month. We do ours every week, but we had a few disagreements then. And she helped work me loosen up a little bit and release some of that grocery money and fun money and things like that. So
absolutely. Well, you should while you're on baby steps 4 through 7.
Both those boys do have shoes on, so that's good.
Way to go, you guys. All right. What do you tell people the biggest key to getting out of debt is?
I think it's like the other debt-free scream said earlier, the budget and communication. When we started, we were writing it down, and now, we've kind of gone electronically, but communicating and having those discussions, being content with what you have. And I think it all comes back down to the budget, and we didn't stop spending. We just put it down on paper and organized it. And still did our snow trips, once we got out of our consumer debt, and still did some Disney trips and things like that. But
it's intentional.
But we just save for it. It took us a year to save for it, but we saved for it. And so.
And just making the money behave all the way.
That's it.
You ever go back in debt?
No, sir.
No, sir. Nope. No,
Not
sir.
even for an F-150.
I got close, and I don't know how much time we got left, but I got super close and almost made a mistake, a very small mistake, and taking another loan. And my wife and Brittany, she snapped me back real quick. So, but
I didn't save for a year for Disneyland for you to get an F-150.
That's right. I love it. Way to go, you guys. All right, we got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires, Financial Peace University, and Total Money Makeover for you. Count it down. $338,000, house and everything. Baby Steps Millionaires in 7 years, making 107 to 200. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt free!
That's how it's done. This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about life and about your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Max is with us in Salt Lake City. Hi, Max. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Afternoon, gentlemen. I appreciate you accepting my call.
Sure. What's up?
Yes, sir. So I'm a 50-year-old married male. Been married for about 7 years. I believe we could retire, but I'm not sure if we should.
Okay. What's the goal here? What's the goal? What do you want to do?
I guess that's the concern. We've been very fortunate. We've played by the rules. I've had a spreadsheet budget that each tab goes back all the way to 1999.
Wow.
And so I have. It's kind of like reading the rings on a tree. If you go to a certain tab, you can kind of see what happened in my life in that specific year. But we have 4 rental homes. We have one pension already secured, and we're receiving that each month. My wife works, and I also have another career now. Mm-hmm. We should get a second pension in 5 years when I'm 55 through the military. Mm-hmm. And so I guess.
And what is your net worth?
Honestly, I don't know. When you account for 4 rental homes, they are paid off. We live in a fifth wheel. We've lived in a fifth wheel for about 5 years now, so that we can have cash flow through the rentals. I would estimate probably $650,000 net net worth. And I guess the biggest concern, and you hit it on the nail on the head when you said, "What's the goal?" What I have found that for a very long time now, I've always woken up and had a goal, had something I wanted to achieve, had something I wanted to, a medal I wanted to put on my chest, or something I wanted to put on my wall. I never thought that 50 years old I would kind of be lost, because I don't know if we should go for a fifth home. I don't know if we should just call it good. We're making now 14.2 a month net. Our total expenditures each month outflow are about 2.3. And I kind of had this wild dream of I've been a private pilot since I was 18, so 32 years. And I was talking to my wife that maybe someday I can take about $35,000 and go after a instructor rating, and maybe I can do that part time until basically the FAA says I'm too old to do it. But then I don't think I'm going to make the return on the investment if I did that. I guess I'm just looking for something to wake up in the morning for. But the money's easy. The numbers are easy. But now that we're here, I don't know.
Yeah, I do want you to change gears, though, from doing your duty, because you're a man of honor who's always done his duty, to finding something that you make money doing while actually enjoying it. And I don't care if you make a lot of money. It wouldn't make me mad.
The challenge about the question,
even if the return wasn't it?
The challenge about the question you're asking, Max, is you've ROI'd joy. You've put a spreadsheet to what matters, and you've spreadsheeted out relationships. You've spreadsheeted out excitement. You've spreadsheeted out happiness. You've spreadsheeted out joy, and it's very hard to capture those things with a 10 key. And the challenge is you're asking a question, what can I go do? What can I go seek that's going to fill that gap inside of me? And that's going to come from the inside out, not the outside in. So the question Dave's asking you is a profound one. What do you want to do, man?
Yeah. And so here I'll give you a hint, okay? I'm going to send you Ken Coleman's career assessment and his new book, From Paycheck to Purpose, because what's missing here is purpose.
Yep.
And I'll give you a place to look. Find something where you're serving other people and making their life better that makes you smile. And then I want you to do that with great scale and go make $1 million doing that. Because you're only 50. You've still got 20 or 25 good, hard years of work that you can bring value to other people's lives. And by the way, if you do that in a proper way inside your skill set, they will give you, as my friend Rabbi Daniel Lappin says, certificates of appreciation with presidents' faces on them. When you serve others and make their life better, they are grateful. Just like when you have a great experience in a high-end white tablecloth restaurant, you are more than happy to say thank you to the person who served you by leaving an outrageous tip. And that's the way the economy should work, is when we serve each other, there's a transfer of wealth that results. And I want you to get that, because you've just been grinding.
On my notes here, Dave, as he was talking, you could see the word I wrote. I wrote the word service. I just wrote that word down as he was speaking. The only way out of this trap is to go be about making somebody else's life better.
And it doesn't have to be a nonprofit.
Nope.
We can argue that Steve Jobs, like him or not, like Apple or not, made lots of people's lives better with these magic wands we carry around in our hands called phones that we can do anything with now, and became bazillionaires because they made a bunch of people's life better, and we can go on from there.
Or something as silly as, you were with me at a park maybe a month or two ago, and your wife and Henry Cloud had to peer pressure me into getting on a roller coaster because I'm terrified of heights. That's my thing. And the other day, you and I jumped out of an airplane together with a guy who...
With parachutes,
With
by the way.
parachutes, yes. We made it. But
otherwise, we would have left our mark.
But somebody...
left it all on the field.
Served us laughter and joy and overcoming fears, and that dude was incredible, and he kept us safe, and he walked us through it. That's a service, as far as I'm... I mean, it was a thing for
They were
me, right?
incredible.
Incredible.
The team, made skydiving not terrifying.
Yes, which is less than I can say about you pulling us on a tube behind your boat, right? But here's the deal.
I was trying to serve you, John.
Sir, you served
you up to the water.
I'm about 18% lake water right now.
Yeah.
But service can look like a lot of different things, but it's going out and saying, where can I bring people joy? Where can I meet a need in the world that's not being met? And go do that thing for other people, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to help in this situation. So mathematically, you can do a lot of stuff. You've got some pensions, and you've got some margin, and you've got some net worth, and you've got time. I do think you need to change gears. Oh, I'll tell you the book you ought to read. I got it. It's called Halftime by Bob Buford. And Bob, the thesis of the book, for those of you that haven't read Halftime, it's an old book, but it's a great book, is that men, particularly males, when they reach halftime in the game, they go from acquisition to significance. And if you don't move from acquisition in the first half of your life to significance in the second half of your life, if you don't make that move, you're susceptible to midlife crises, blondes, and convertibles.
Wow.
And so you're going to find significance doing something. You're going to find excitement doing something in the second half. First half is just grind, and acquisition is fine. And by the way, the first half is not a chronological thing, it's an emotional thing. I did my halftime at 28 when I went broke. And so I reached the point after going broke, I don't give a crap what anybody thinks. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And I went to significance, which is this thing has been I've done for 30 years now, plus 30 plus years. So been on the air for 30 years. But but that's that whole movement. There's a movement there that's tied to the midlife crisis idea and all that kind of stuff. But you're just having a chronologically a little bit later halftime. It doesn't mean you're emotionally stunted. That's not what I'm saying. But this guy, that we're talking to here, Max. But I think hey, what's the next adventure?
Yeah.
Look for an adventure of service.
A man without a purpose is an untethered, scary, dangerous person. Go find a purpose, man.
Yeah.
Go serve.
Hang on, I'll have Austin pick up. We're going to send you a copy of that. Ken call all of Ken's materials and assessment and the book as well, From Paycheck to Purpose. This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they really love, and create actual amazing relationships. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, mental health expert, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money and your life. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. Lynn is with us in Rochester, New York. Hi, Lynn. How are you?
I'm great, Dave. How are you guys?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Okay. Well, when I said I was great, honestly, we have a crisis and we need your help solving. My husband was offered a job in North Carolina, and granted, it's only 15 cents more an hour. But what we would save in taxes and everything else would be astronomical. We put our home on the market. The real estate agent said that we should get 169.9 for it. Hopefully there would be a bidding war, but he said the market's kind of soft, so it might not happen. We found out that we have a lien on the home from past medical debt of $21,000, and we owe $120,000 on the home. So if our home goes for 169.9 after we pay the lien and pay the home off, we're going to net $7,000 to $10,000. And my question to you is, should we take it off the market and just hammer out the debt and then go forth with North Carolina?
What is the history on this $21,000 medical debt?
I was in a car accident 10 years ago, and we fought back and forth with the insurance to take care of it. They never did. And then my husband, I got ill with lupus and wasn't able to work, and my husband's sole provider, so things got pushed off to the side, and that was one of them.
So the moral of the story is that ignoring things doesn't make them go away.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you have a $21,000 medical debt that they finally sued you on and took a lien against your house on, but have never garnished your wages. And that lawsuit was how long ago?
Yeah.
How long ago?
How long ago
was the lawsuit?
Oh, goodness. Probably 5 years ago. They are garnishing his wages now.
I bet they are. Okay. When were you all planning on dealing with this?
Well, to be honest, because they were taking his wages, we're like, okay, because we're paying it, we just assumed naively, I guess that's even a word, that... What is
your household income?
My husband makes about $70,000 with overtime.
Mm-hmm. And the move to North Carolina was prompted by what? What makes you want to go down there?
Just, we felt years ago God's calling us to North Carolina. We love the area, we love the people, and just life in general we feel would be better there. Because here in New York, the taxes are astronomical. I mean, we're paying...
Okay, here's the thing. If you sell your house, you get a fresh start, and you get rid of this mess that you haven't dealt with, and you get to move on with your life. That's a beautiful thing, okay? The only downside of that process is you probably could negotiate this $21,000 debt. You probably offer them $5 or $10. They probably take it as settlement in full. Do you have the ability to borrow any money?
No, we don't.
Could you go to your credit union and get $5,000 or $10,000?
We might be able to. My husband's credit isn't the greatest right now.
No kidding.
Because of the debt, right? I know, big surprise.
Yeah. Okay, so I would ask your credit union if there's any chance that they would loan you $5,000 or $10,000. Don't take the money. If they approve the loan, though, get that in writing, and then go to the lawyers that have done the lawsuit on the medical debt and see if you can settle this for a quarter or 50 cents on the dollar. If you can do that, that'll get the lien removed for less than $21,000, and then that would put a little more money in your pocket as you sell the house. If you want to go that route, you can. If you don't want to go that route, just sell your house. At least you'll be rid of the garnishment, and you will have gotten this from over the top of your head. But please, for God's sakes, learn the lesson from it. The lesson is this stuff doesn't go away unless you make it go away. It just gets worse. It's like a splinter under the skin.
That's very true.
Yeah, ignoring it, these things have a high rate of resurrection. They come back. over and over and over and over again. And so you have to push that stuff through. And I'm fussing at both you and your husband for your own good, because I want you to prosper, and you're not going to prosper with that habit in place. So, yes, I'm selling your house. Yes, I'm going to try to settle that debt for less than the face of it is, because it is a 10-year-old medical debt, and they probably will take less on it. But maybe they won't now that they got a garnishment.
And also, by the time when you get to North Carolina, it may mean you have to rent for a year or two.
Yeah, you don't have any money.
Yeah, you can't come in here and just buy your dream house in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Right.
And but 15 cents an hour raise with no income tax and no garnishment, that's bigger than 15 cent an hour raise.
You don't feel like you've won.
So yeah, you're going to come out ahead that way. So, and you get a fresh start, and you kind of get a different setting and everything. So I'm with you on the move overall, and that's what I would try to do. Megan is with us in Atlanta. Hi, Megan. How are you?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for taking my call. How are you?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Right. Well, I am just looking for some advice. So last October, I got a bill in the mail that I owed Verizon Wireless $4,000. And it ended up being a fraudulent bill. I have never had, or I had an account many years ago with them. I have in place identity fraud protection. I worked with my team there in getting that all resolved. I thought we were all good with everything. I ended up buying a condo not too long ago, and so have been paying pretty close attention to my credit report, and I just got a message last week that I owed $4,600 to a collections agency.
Yeah.
And it's still...
You're going to have to go back to your identity theft protection again. That's what it's for, and they will have to work it through. That's the only way you can do it. There's not any way around it. That's the downside of this. The good news is if you have good identity theft protection like Xander Insurance, then they will do the work for you and fight these things off and push them aside. If you have bad, they make you do half the work. Well, we've spent a couple of call segments talking about insurance today, and we've got Amir on the line in Denver. Hey, Amir, tell me how things are going with you, brother.
First of all, I'm doing better than I deserve, sir.
I love it. Very good. Hey,
and
thank you.
I'm very, very excited to talk to you.
Well, thanks for calling in to talk about this insurance stuff. Talk about insurance and how it impacted your life.
Absolutely. So I want to start by saying that you literally saved my life, and that's regarding the insurance, and we're going into it now. Our story goes back to 2016 when I started listening to your show. My wife and I never really had any debt except for a mortgage. But since we left Israel and immigrated to the States after the age of 30, we knew that we were way behind in our retirement savings. So I was searching online for all kinds of advice when I stumbled upon your plan. At that point, I learned that I am underinsured for my life insurance, according to what you teach. And my wife had no life insurance at the time, since at that point she wasn't working. So, of course, I reached out to Xander, got a quote for new life insurance for both me and my wife. And while my wife was approved within a couple of weeks, my application was denied because of irregular activity of my heart that was seen on the EKG test. At that point, I'm reaching out to my physician with a decline letter. We're starting doing investigation, and we found that I have a genetic heart disease that put me at a risk of a cardiac arrest. And while the disease is not curable, I do have an implantable defibrillator today that will kick in and save my life if something would happen. Since I am not insurable anymore because of this issue, we decided to go gazelle intense in paying off our mortgage, which we did in less than 4 years. And I do know today that if something would happen to me, at least my wife and daughters will have a roof over their heads and hefty savings. So at the end, it was a blessing in disguise, since we may not have learned about it until it would have been too late.
You discovered the health problem because of the insurance application. That's amazing. Wow,
Yes, sir,
what a
it is.
story, man. You've been through so much. That's crazy. So you went through this Confidence in Your Coverage series, the 5-video series with George Camel. What'd you get out of
Yes,
that?
sir. Well, it gave me the assurance to know that I am well covered, at least where I can be covered. And we did not really miss anything, and I'm very happy. I do have a financial peace by doing that.
Yeah. Well, you got a little peace of mind now that you've, because this whole subject's kind of had like a highlighter over the top of it for you, man. That's pretty crazy. Wow. Well, congratulations, man. And thank you for calling in. I'm glad your health was discovered and got that underway, and it also helped you adjust your overall financial plan. That's crazy.
Dave, I just had to catch, I almost got choked up there. The difference between somebody who gets life deals them a raw deal, just hands them a bad set of cards, and you either full up and quit playing, or you say, thank God I'm all right. Now we got to do something different. I don't know if I could bottle that up and write that book, man. My grandkids would never have to work.
Yeah.
But they looked him in the eye and said, you might die, so we're going to have to put a machine in you. And you can't get insurance. And instead of going home and saying, well, crap, that's it for me, he said, we're going to do something really different. We're going to have to pay this thing off. At least my wife will be okay here. That's courage and bravery that is missing from society en masse, to say, here's what life dealt you, man, and it's not good, it's not right, it's not fair, and so what are you going to do? And that dude said, I'm going to do something different.
Yeah. It's very cool.
That's incredible, man.
You know, we see that a lot, that common thread among people who are able to win with money. They manifest something like that. The old book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen Covey. The number one habit is the people are proactive. They happen to things. Things don't happen to them.
Yeah.
They're victors, not victims.
Yeah.
And so all of us have crap coming at us. I mean, everybody does. And the question is, are you going to stand on it or lay under it?
Yeah.
And, man, he's a stud.
That's incredible, man.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so good.
Hey, guys, a lot of you are concerned all the way to panicking about the real estate world out there. On July 14th, we're hosting a free live stream called Real Estate Reality Check. George Camel, Rachel Cruz, and I are going to walk you through what's going on with the housing market today and how it all works so you know how to navigate it. Spoiler alert, the housing market's not going to crash. It's not. And we're going to show you with data, not emotions, not politics, why. We're going to teach you where real estate prices come from, and we're going to walk you through the facts, the data, the charts, the graphs, the economics, completely free. July 14th, a free live stream, Real Estate Reality Check. And so far, tens of thousands of you have already signed up to watch this. It's at 7 p.m. Central Time, July 14th, about 2 weeks from now. RamseySolutions.com/reality-check will get you signed up. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your window blinds for free. Free samples, free shipping, and new promos they run every month. You'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Ashley in Ohio. Ashley writes, my husband and I fight all the time and need counseling in our finances. We're pretty equal with spending, but I get blamed for being a spender. He makes $200K a year, and we are out of debt except for our house. We have about 9 years left on our mortgage, and I'm sick of pinching pennies. I compared myself with our friends all the time. We make more money than so many people, and yet we have old cars. I'm over it, and I'm to the point where I could go back in debt to live and say, yeah, kids more. How can I get out of this mindset? I need some more information here for this one, Dave, but you've dealt with this a long time. I have a hard time with the limited data set I have here. I have a hard time with the attitude, I guess. I struggle with that.
Hers?
Yes. And it may be, and again, with some more data would let me know if a husband is super controlling and won't let anybody spend anything, or he only gets to spend things. But when it comes to, I compare myself with my friends, I'm ready to get back into debt so we can go have some fun. I have a hard time with that one. I also have a hard time with making $200,000 and y'all haven't created space for y'all to enjoy your life. Right?
Yeah. I may be reading too much into this, but I just see two selfish, immature people.
Yeah.
Both of you want your little thing, and neither one of you are willing to put the other one first, number one. And worse than that, neither one of you are willing to put the good of the overall household ahead of your own little crap. You're you sound like a spoiled princess.
It just sounds like a child.
Or you are a wife who has absolutely no vote because your husband's an overbearing ogre nerd with his spreadsheet, but he gets to do whatever he wants.
Right.
Both of these are selfish, immature reactions.
Right.
What both of you should do is look to say, okay, what is the best plan for the good of our overall household? And what is that? What is the best plan? We have taught that the best plan to do is called the baby steps. And depending on where you are in the baby steps, it sounds like you're in 4, 5, and 6. Then you don't have to pinch pennies if you're out of debt, everything but the house, and you have an emergency fund in place. But you two have not done a budget that you both agreed to that was aimed at a bigger goal than either one of you. The only thing you do, the reason you have fights is when you sit down, you want to get what you want, he wants to get what he wants, instead of going, okay, what's the big goal? You're not dreaming bigger than either one of you. Your dream is, I want something.
I want equal, or I want more than you.
My vote needs to get, We need a big goal that's bigger than either one of you, a bigger vision, a better, clearer vision that you both can buy into and you're both willing to sacrifice equally to hit that goal and consistently to hit that goal. But this sounds like two kids fighting over he's got my toy. He's got my toy.
I want my toy.
Like my grandkids when I'm keeping them. This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. On July 14th, we're hosting a free live stream event called Real Estate Reality Check. If you're wondering about real estate and what it's going to do, we're going to give you data, not feelings. We're going to give you facts and historical perspective on the best way to look at this situation and what are you really facing out there. Should you be scared? Is the market going to crash? Spoiler alert, no, it's not. Go to RamseySolutions.com/reality check and get your tickets for free. Oh, calling from Tacoma, Washington, Camera and Esprit are with us. It says on my screen you guys are debt-free. Congratulations. How much have you paid off?
Hi, Dave. We paid off $150,507.86.
Love it. How long did this take?
43 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
We started off as a 2-income household making about $80,000, and by the end we were down to a 1-income household making about $85,000.
Ha! I like it. That's a great increase. What do you do for a living?
I'm in commercial tire sales.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And she's not now, right?
That's correct.
Not anymore.
I love it. What did you do before, Esprit?
I was a social worker.
Very good.
In foster care.
Good. Yeah. Oh, that's a good calling. Fun. Okay. And what was the $151,000 in debt?
Well, it was not a little, it was a lot of everything. We had credit cards, student loans, car loans, personal loans, you name it, we had it.
Y'all were like normal.
Yeah.
Just regular old walking around Americans. And you woke up one day and said, this sucks. We need to change. How'd you find out? What'd you decide to do this Ramsey stuff?
So for us, we had like this rotating cycle of money fights, right? And one day I just happened to see one of our friends celebrating completing baby step number 2 on their Facebook, asked them about it, and we went to go enroll, and we actually couldn't afford it because you guys don't accept credit cards. And we were like, oh, this is a really big issue. And so we saved up and enrolled in FPU, and it's, history ever since.
Yeah, very cool, because it's 99 whole dollars. And, and if we took credit cards, that would be pretty hypocritical, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, man, I'm so proud of y'all. So you signed up for FPU, and that starts the whole thing 4 years ago, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So tell me what happened after that. You went to class, and were you both ready? I mean, or one of you kicking and screaming against it, or what?
I was definitely the last to come on board. After the first meeting, and we were talking about on the car ride home, we actually got into a little argument because I didn't want to sacrifice. I didn't want to give up my stuff.
I just saw a picture of you with that nice F-150. You wanted to hang on to that truck, huh?
Yeah, that was actually that was a Dave car. So we had probably about 3 or 4 months before we started FPU, we had both purchased 2 brand new cars that ended up going away.
Oh, and the truck was a downgrade.
That's a downgrade?
Yeah.
Whew, sweet.
I got a good deal on it.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Okay. I'm going with that. Good. I'll go with that.
20 years old.
Yeah, it's a 20-year-old truck.
Oh, it doesn't. It looks the
sharp.
picture makes it look good. Okay, good. All right. So you got rid of what did you sell off?
I had a Ford Focus ST, a little sports car, and she had a regular Ford Focus.
Okay. Wow. Good. I could say something smart. I look like you went up, but anyway.
I was gonna say,
but
man.
but anyway. Well, congratulations. That's a big deal, man. When you go through that internal battle with yourself to say, okay, I don't really want to live like no one else so that later I can live like no one else, but maybe I should. Maybe I need to. Maybe I've got to grow up. And you wrestle that guy to the ground and to say, I've got to sacrifice to win and I don't like it. That is a real adult manly thing to do, dude.
Thank you.
It's hard, isn't it?
It wasn't easy.
It's an existential struggle.
Hard. Yeah, I really liked that car.
Yeah, even though I made fun of it. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I get it. That's, when I distinctly remember when I was coming out of the whole process of going broke and I had to look in the mirror and not in a shaming way, but just in a truthful way and say, you're the problem. And you, by God, are going to be the solution. I mean, I had this conversation with myself looking in the mirror in the bathroom, and it's just like, you're killing me.
Right.
And it's just this internal wrestling, and you guys decide to go and change your whole lives. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
I would say, don't be afraid to get back on track when you slip up, because we definitely did over the course of, almost 4 years. Be intense, be intentional, and don't carry shame, because that causes you to isolate, and then you don't give yourself room for support.
Sounds like a man who's gone to counseling, huh?
Or a wife who was a social worker.
Oh, there you go. Oh, even better.
No, a wife who teaches counseling.
Even
there we
better.
go. Yeah, that's good. But that is true. That is true. The only difference in shame and guilt is one of them defines who you are, and the other one just is an admission of stupidity. And you move on, right? And so it's not who I am. It's just something I did.
Something I did. That's right.
And that I'm not going to be shamed by my past. That's why I can say, I lost everything. I got a PhD in DUMB, and I can do it with great freedom, because that is not who I am. It's something I did 30 years ago. So, and it set me up to win like never before, and also to help other people win like never before. So proud of you guys. You're heroes. Well done. Well done. Well done. Who are your biggest cheerleaders?
Definitely each other, right? We depended on each other, but I actually have two really good friends that have also went through FPU, Phyllis and Taylor, and they really cheered us through. We were our money eaters were food, right? Groceries and eating out, and we all kept each other accountable. So definitely them.
Yeah.
Like-minded people help you along the way big time.
Good phrase. Good phrase. Yeah, you need community for accountability and for encouragement, to bust you and also to, hold your hand when you're just weak, and it's just, we all need that. Good stuff, you guys. Well done, well done. We've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That's the next chapter in your story for sure. We've also got a fresh 1-year subscription to Financial Peace University. You can give that to someone. It is all the brand new videos, the best FPU we've ever done. And also a copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give away and get someone started. Way to go, you guys. Very well done. Cameron and Esprit in Tacoma, Washington, 151,000 in 43 months. Making 80 to 85, and she was able to quit work and stay home with a baby and still got an increase in income for him over the whole net of the thing. Well done, you guys. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
So great, man.
Don't be normal. Be weird.
So great.
Don't be conformed to this world. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Well done, you two. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Psalm 90:12. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Thomas Sowell says, life does not ask what we want, it presents us with options. That's the truth. Ooh. Oh, in those debt-free screams, we're always giving away a 1-year membership to Financial Peace University, which includes the premium version of every dollar. It automatically connects to your bank with all your different debit card usage, pops right into your budget. You're going to love all that. If you want to do all of that, just get you a Financial Peace University membership gift card. Very easy to do. Just check it out at ramseysolutions.com/gift, and you can sign up for that and give it to someone. And if you wanted to give Financial Peace University away, that's how you do it these days. And that way they've got access online to watch the videos, and they can go to a local class if they want as well. It's all available, all for one price. You got to love it. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Hunter is with us in Greenville, South Carolina. Hi, Hunter. How are you?
Right now I'm nervous because I didn't think that y'all would actually get through today. How are you guys?
Well, we're honored to speak with you. How can we help?
Yeah. So I come from a family where financial literacy wasn't really taught. We didn't talk about money. We saw parents put everything on credit cards, live on debt, paycheck to paycheck. That changed when my husband and I got married. We went through the baby steps. We paid off all of our debt 2 years ago, and we're currently saving for a house down payment right now.
Good for you. You broke up chains.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my sisters are all still kind of stuck in that, living paycheck to paycheck, living in debt. And we find ourselves constantly bailing them out. And even today, one of my sisters called me in tears asking for money, and they're in a really deep hole. And so, of course, this is the third time we've bailed her out and given $1,500 over the last 3 months to some of my sisters to bail them out. And so I'm just trying to find the balance of, like, when's enough? Is it okay to put stipulations when you're giving money to family? Like, hey, I'm going to give you this, but, like, I want to sit down and do a budget with you. Or is, like, that overstepping? I don't know. It's kind of my question. I'm looking for advice and guidance.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
How many sisters? 3?
I have 3 sisters, 2 older sisters and 1 younger sister.
Okay.
Hunter, I'll let Dave answer the back end of this, but it sounds like you're giving money less because they need it and more you feel like you have to. Whether that's from a place of guilt, you quote unquote got out, or you just feel like it's your job. Am I right?
I would say that's true. I definitely come from, like, an emotionally manipulative family.
Okay.
I don't really have too much to do with, like, my parents and things like that too much anymore. And I don't know, I guess I feel a sense of responsibility for them because, like, I see where we were kind of let down and I found a way out, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to see them struggle.
Yeah.
And
Well, nobody wants to see somebody they love struggle. And at the same time, you can't help her be in better shape by running her miles for her.
Yeah.
You can help with a workout plan. You can call and check up on her and see how her workouts are going. Y'all can run together, but
she won't lose weight when you don't eat.
That's right. You can't run her miles for her. So my recommendation, and this is not for everybody, this is just listening to you, is that you and your husband stop. Cut it off. And that may be an email that says we're no longer going to support in this way. But right now you need to get okay with you, and you're not there yet. And letting that money leave to try to help you is different than I see a need, I'm going to go meet that need. Right now you're trying to meet your own needs, right? And then Dave, you've taught me a lot about stipulation. It's your money to give, right? You can put whatever stipulation on it you want to because it's your money.
You have absolutely zero moral or spiritual obligation for a sibling who is misbehaving.
Yeah.
None. I set you free right now. It's not your job.
Yeah.
It's not your job.
Yeah. It's hard to watch.
It's very hard to watch people you love be stupid.
Yeah.
And hurt themselves.
They, like, just bought a house. They just bought a house, and, like, they came to me for advice on making their budget to buy the house, and I was like, look, I really don't think this is in y'all's budget. Because before, when we bailed them out, we did, I sat down with her.
So they
and
went
helped her with
against
the
your
budget.
advice and bought something they couldn't afford, and then last week they came to you for money.
Yeah. Well, today they came to me for money, but yeah.
Did you give it to them today?
I did send her money today. And I told them, I was like, I want to sit down with both of you guys this time because, like, you can't do it on your own. Like, you and your husband have to be in on this. Yeah. And he doesn't see the need to sit down, so.
He doesn't have one because you keep giving money.
Yeah, she doesn't have a need to sit down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So, not because it's the right thing to do morally, but because you are a classic enabler.
Yeah.
Enablers don't put stipulations on giving a drunk a drink. Okay? Now, there's nothing morally wrong with giving the guy who says we'll work for food money at the corner because he's in a hard time. That's fine. But if we wanted to love him better, we would stop, take the time, which takes more time to love someone well. It's more inconvenient. And we would walk him over to McDonald's and buy him a meal if he would go.
Yeah.
If he really will work for
tell
food.
us what's going on.
He may just flip you off and tell you to get off his corner. But in which case, I think we found out the real deal, right? Which it's some of both when the guy's standing out there with a sign. And so you want to love people that are hurting well, but loving them well does require stipulations. It does require boundaries, not for you and not because it's the law, but because what is good for her. What you've been doing has not been good for her. You've been financing her crazy butt life. That's not been good for her. You've been giving a drunk a drink. You've been harming your sister. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Your lack of courage to say no or not put stipulations on this because you felt better if you just gave her money. She would go away without any kind of a conflict or without any kind of her mother's manipulation, your manipulation coming out of your sister's mouth directed at your forehead. You didn't want to deal with all that, and so you cheaped out and gave her money.
And so make no mistake, when you draw this boundary,
she's going to be pissed.
She's going to come run and bang up against that boundary and see if it holds.
Yep.
And you are going to, I can't believe you're doing this to us. We hate you. Oh, you're Miss Goody Two-Shoe. Oh, you're Miss Rich
You've got
now.
it all figured out. Yeah, you forgot your raisin.
Expect all of that. And the pain and that
Family's
hurt.
first. What's wrong with you? I can tell now that you married him.
Right.
You're going to hear all this bull crap, redneck bull crap. I can hear it right now.
Doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Okay?
Yeah.
And I can say that because I know it well personally. Okay, so not putting somebody down, not you anyway. So anyway, this is what's going to happen. The same stuff that you distance yourself from your parents is what's going to happen when you draw this boundary. Now, what you can do though is just be loving and kind and gentle, and say, "I would love to help you. When you complete Financial Peace University, and I get to see the budget that you two are doing together." If I can participate in some of your getting out of debt process and you're getting in control, we'll try to do that. I am no longer going to give you money without you having done that, though. Or what John said is okay, too. Just to make sure you first get whole and you're doing this from strength, just say, you know what, I would if I could, but I can't right now. I don't feel good about the way this is going. I feel bad. I feel like I'm bringing you harm, and I just can't do it anymore. I'm so sorry. I love you, but I just can't give you money.
Yeah.
And if she says, well, if you really love me, you give me money. Well, listen, if you have to buy your relationship, that's called prostitution.
That's true.
It's not a real relationship.
Yeah.
And so, that's the deal. So if she puts a boundary on you that says the only way we have a relationship is money, then we know how things do it. So.
And after you get your house, you save up for your house, you get it paid off. You get your down payment ready to rock and roll. Then you might be in a place to say, okay, let's sit down and have this conversation. But you need to heal from the inside out too.
Yeah, it's okay to say no, and you really, really need to. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.